Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Pagey here, and Doom Patrol is back again for another week, episode 2. So episode 1 was a strong start. I think it was one of the best pilot episodes I think I've ever watched for a TV show. I really had no negatives around it, apart from Negative Man, because he's negative. If that is a terrible joke to start off the video, yeah. So let's move along. So last episode basically just, meet the Doom Patrol. Essentially, we dived into most of their backstories. Crazy Jane was just sort of referenced, and that's really more for this episode, as well as another new introduction to the Doom Patrol. So yeah, mainly last episode, Robot Man, Woman, as well as Negative Man. But the episode obviously ended with, Mr. Nobody showing up, hanging out with the Chief, and a big black hole opening, and that's where this episode starts off. So we just basically see the Chief get taken in there by Mr. Nobody, and who else goes in there? Well, it's Crazy Jane gets sucked into that black hole sort of portal thing, as well as, all of Cloverton. So R.I.P. Cloverton. We go to Detroit this episode. Obviously, we know why we're going there. It's to meet Cyborg or Victor Stone. The introduction scene with him was really cool. Just that whole, vigilante sort of scene. There's like a Bruce Wayne little reference at the ATM. I think when Victor's asking the guy how rich he wants to be, like rich, very rich, or Bruce Wayne rich. I think he picked Bruce Wayne rich. I'm pretty sure he did. I can't remember. But we also do see him meet Chief in the flashbacks, and this is basically like how he learns of what's going on and why he would go there. Basically, not the exact explanation of the Doom Patrol, but just Chief referencing it and all of that. But basically, the events of last episode just has an effect on basically everyone in the Doom Patrol. In this, the main one we see is Larry trying to leave town, but the negative spirit within him is just not allowing him to, which is I wouldn't say it's a massive story going on in this episode, but it's something that just plays along with the character for most of the episode. But the thing I was wondering to myself was, I wonder how much money he was spending on the tickets, or was he getting like refunds or exchanges? Like, oh, I missed my bus, so can I just get a refund or an exchange for another ticket? Was that what was happening there? Was he paying for every single ticket? I'm not too sure if they highlighted that. I'm just going to assume he was exchanging them and just, getting a new ticket every single time, but not having to pay a new amount because he was just swapping over tickets. But we do see Jane actually vomited out by the donkey. Now, she is like all over the joint in this episode for the most part after coming out of there. I think we understand why she was like that once, we see what goes on in there, especially with what Mr. Nobody's doing. But her personality is just coming out of every direction. It's pretty insane. And this even leads us to seeing Robot Man finding heaps of tapes of Jane and Chief. So when Chief went and met Jane for the first time, we see new personalities and others are just like referenced in these tapes. The main one I think we saw was Flit, jumping all over the joint and stuff like that. Now the underground is not only mentioned but also revealed. We do see I guess you could say the layout of the underground on one of Chief's boards when Robot Man takes it apart. Now, basically, the best way to put it is that the underground is literally like an underground, like in London and stuff, like the train stations, or like a subway, I guess you could say, in America. So basically, each personality is a station in this underground network or subway network, and they do allude to it that some are more lower down. So the lower down that a station or personality is, the more likely it's buried, and if they go too low, they can actually just be killed off. So there could be 64 personalities, but if a personality gets too low to the point where it's wiped away, it's just killed. I mean, in the comics for Doom Patrol, various personalities have actually died from going too low. So the one that's buried a bit is Katie, and we do see her show up, and it's a bit of a fiery time. But Katie first meets, the new, if you want to call it a character for this episode, that being Cyborg, as I was saying before. He meets the Doom Patrol. He even name drops the Flash to Baby Doll, saying that the Flash isn't even that fast. Now, Baby Doll was an interesting character, especially with her interaction with Robot Man, but we'll talk about Robot Man and Crazy Jane a bit later on in the video. Now, this donkey that we saw at the end of last episode is actually a doorway, so we see Rita or Woman enter the donkey in a pretty grotesque way. Like, the sounds were really gross. It's like, oh, does it have to be that graphic? The sound, the look of it, I wasn't grossing me out. Just the sounds. It's like, hey, can we cut that out, please? But Cyborg and Negative Man go in there as well because, can't go in there solo. May as well have a threesome while we're in there. But we see Mr. Nobody, essentially make Rita, Larry, and Victor re-experience their past. The good and the bad, but with Vic, it's basically just all the bad. Just start off with the bad, Vic. That's what you're getting. But essentially, this was almost like teasing us diving further deeper into their backstories and what they're hiding and stuff. Rita with that baby, Larry with his, secret relationship as well as like his family life as well. And obviously the truth behind what happened to Vic and his incident as well. So they're just teasing that. And then I'd assume we're going to get like individual episodes. So like Rita will have an episode where her flashbacks or her backstories dived into, one for Larry and then one for Victor. And then I'm guessing one for Crazy Jane and another one for Robot Man as well. And maybe even one for Chief if they want to do that as well. I'm guessing that's what they're going to do. But, Doom Patrol is a bit unorthodox in the good way. So they might do it up a bit differently. Maybe we get flashbacks for most characters or multiple characters in specific episodes. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, when that donkey exploded, was I the only one that thought that Negative Man sort of looked like Spider-Man? Was I the only one? Anyway, but we see Negative Man take off those bandages, looking a bit worse for wear. That's probably the best way to put it. But we see that he is trying to communicate with the spirit, or he has done this before, about wanting to set ground rules, like ground rules, might I say, by leaving like the sticky note and stuff like that. Look, I think like Larry is a character. I think he's the character I'm looking forward to seeing the flashbacks the most. I think I'd have to say, like, Robot Man, we saw a decent amount of them in episode 1. So I'd probably say Larry is probably Negative Man is the character I'm looking, forward to seeing the flashbacks the most. I think I'd have to say him. But Cyborg does basically join the Doom Patrol for now, I guess. Like, he had that conversation with his father. And I think, he's here for a while. They even talk about him, like, early in the episode that he might be able to join the Justice League in 5 years if he goes good, and maybe even sooner if he, progresses at a good level. But now he's with the Doom Patrol. Don't know if that's a downgrade or an upgrade. Guess it matters who you're talking to. But we do finish the episode off by seeing the Hangman's daughter painting a painting with Cyborg holding his mother, presumably dead, with the Doom Patrol dead around him as well. So essentially Hangman's daughter in the comics can like make her paintings come to life from memory. So she can just make them come real. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's something like that. Like she can make them come to life, or they just become real. Like she's like seeing them happening. It's like almost anything. Anyway, so it's something like that. So we could actually see that happen. But Hangman's daughter, like we're seeing a lot of painting going on. So maybe she's painting a lot of future things happening. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But in regards to my favorite moments for the episode, Cyborg in general, just meeting him, I thought, I think it's Joivin Wade. I can't remember how you pronounce his name or something like that. Anyway, Joivin Wade, I think I'm just going to call him that. He plays Cyborg. I think he did a really good job. Honestly, the relationship between Silas Stone and Victor Stone, I think this is one of the best ones we've seen. Some of the animated stuff is really good. Some of the stuff in the comics is really good, but I think their relationship is arguably the best. I think it's Phil Morris is the guy that's playing Silas Stone. He was Martian Manhunter or John Jones on Smallville, so it's awesome to see him back in a DC property. And I think their relationship was really good. I think that's the perfect Silas and Victor Stone relationship. So yeah, I'm excited to see more of that going forward. The Negative Man scene at the bus stop, just the repetition of it, I thought it was funny. That was a good comedic scene. Diane Guerrero as Jane, once again, I think killed it in this episode. I think this was a better episode for her because she had many more personalities. So all these personalities coming out, and it's doing like, in quick things like, she's this personality for 2 seconds and she's this personality for 2 seconds and so on and so forth. I think she did a really good job in this episode in regards to that. And I'm a big fan of like the flicker effect, I guess it is. Like this sort of like a thing comes over the top of her when she changes personality. I did see some people complaining about that from last episode. Personally, for me, I think it looks cool and it lets us know as the audience that she is changing, because some personalities, she just looks normal. When she goes baby doll, she gets like her hair goes up. And when she, some of the other ones, like some of her hair changes or her face changes a bit, or she'll get a scar or something on her face. But some personalities look the same. So I think it is important for the show to make us know through that flicker that she is changing personalities. I think that's important for them to do that. And I think they have to do that just to make us know 100% that she is changing personalities, because some can be similar and she could look the same as well, or similar enough where you wouldn't notice too much of a physical change. So I think the flicker is the way to go. And Robot Man and Jane, I think that's the the relationship or the duo. I think that's going to be the strongest in this show. I think we already know that, I think, from episode 1 at least, but even this episode, I think that even grows a bit more with that. regardless of the fight that she has with Robot Man in the episode, obviously that was just her personalities going all over the joint. But, you know, as we get deeper and deeper into the episode, we see Jane just gain more control. And we know what happened to her. Like, basically, all that stuff that happened in that inside the donkey, if we're going to call it, drove all these personalities to go a bit haywire. But Robot Man is easily the most sympathetic character. I think Jane's probably the most interesting character in regards to present day. In regards to, you know, the past, I'm interested to see more of Larry. But you have like two of the stronger, you know, factors of the show, having one of the strongest, you know, relationships and duos in the show, that being Robot Man and Jane. So I'm just interested to see more of that develop on the show. But overall, this episode, I thought it was a great follow-up episode. I think I preferred the pilot, but that's nothing. The pilot was just, as I said, I think it was one of the best parts and best kickoffs for a show I've ever seen. So it would have been really, really hard to beat that. But this episode was still really good. Nothing really too much wrong with it. There was some dodgy CGI with the donkey, like both on the exterior when it exploded and stuff, and even when you're like going down the donkey's throat into like the porthole thing, whatever you want to call it. That was about it. Like, I'm not too sure about the Mr. Nobody narrating like all the time. I'm not too sure if that's the best way to go about it. It didn't bother me this episode because I think it worked when it was there. Maybe the reference to like the Doom Patrol fans was a bit weird, maybe a bit too meta. I don't mind meta references, but that was a bit maybe too much. I don't know. But maybe in future episodes, when maybe an episode needs to be more serious, that could be an issue. So it worked in this episode, but maybe in another episode, like episode 5 or 6, when something more serious has to happen, the episode's more serious, it might not work. But we'll have to wait and see. We can't judge it when it's, you know, hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? But yeah, another good episode, and I can't wait to watch next week's episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below. What did you think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you just slightly dislike it? Let me know in the comment section down below your opinions on what your favorite moment was. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.